going on, guys? So it's official, we are going to be leaving Indiana tomorrow. We're going to be heading west, probably end up somewhere around shooting for Missouri tomorrow, somewhere in Missouri. I don't know where at in Missouri. That's what we're shooting for in the morning. But since we are officially leaving tomorrow, that means I need to do some once-over things on the truck and take a look and see what I need to get done in preparation for leaving tomorrow. So join me, go through my little checklist that I got to get done. So one thing in preparing to get ready to go is I overlook our tow rig. That means I do a walk-around inspection of the tow rig, check tires, all that good stuff. Just do a once-over, make sure there's nothing predominantly sticking out to me that could cause a problem first thing tomorrow. And at glance, everything looks to be normal. It is extremely hot out here again today. Well, tires all look up, which we'll check those with a tire gauge in a moment. Let's pop the hood. Ooh, just shook the carpet. Basically, we'll look under the hood here and make sure there's nothing predominantly sticking out that we need to address. So now that the hood's open, just going to glance around and see if there's anything that's sticking out that looks like it needs to be addressed. Brake fluid and everything looks good. So is the overflow. Batteries still look good. Looking at our serpentine belt. That's something we should probably replace sometime here in the not so distant future. We actually might be starting to get a little worn, but I don't see any big cracks or anything, so I think we should be okay on that. But you know, that's one of the things you want to look over, check your belts, and that's where preventative maintenance comes into play. Always look your vehicle over, especially if you plan on taking long trips. Now ours being a diesel, I'm checking the boots here for the intercooler and all that stuff, the turbo. Doesn't look like the boots are popping off. Everything's coming unplugged from the turbo. So, visual inspection, everything looks pretty good. But because we'd had problems with the rear axle seal and all that stuff right there leaking after having extensive work done to the rear end of the truck, what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my work mat out. We're going to crawl underneath the back of the truck and we're going to take a good eyeball on it, especially after putting the miles on the truck yesterday. I didn't see anything at first glance, but now it's set overnight. Look for any seepage, anything that might be draining down the back side of the tire. So I'm going to grab this mat and we're going to get to it. So now with putting the work mat down here in place so it don't get quite as dirty, we're going to crawl underneath this sucker and see what's going on. So now that we're under here, you guys see a little bit on the backing plate there. That is just residual that never got cleaned completely off, but you can see there's no actual fresh leaks down around the back side of the tire, and that's usually a telltale sign when you have a leaky rear axle seal or even a brake chamber leaking, or wheel cylinder. Let me quit talking truck. You'll have, like, you know, fluids and stuff run down the back side of your tire. It's usually first indication that you have a small leak back here somewhere. That's just a little spillage from the servicing of the axle. We put new gear oil in. As we see, the other side completely dry, so that means that axle seal over there was in great shape. Now since I'm down here, I'll go ahead and check my spare, and it's got plenty of air in it, and main thing, it's still here. So that's one thing you want to definitely check. But so under an inspection of the rear end here, it looks like we should be in good shape as far as the seal. It doesn't look like it has been leaking anymore or continuing to leak. Sorry about the light, it's not that great with the camera down here, but give you guys adjust to what the things that I try to keep an eye on and double check. And also when I'm down here, I can actually see the front as well, and I don't see anything liquidy or shiny sticking on the back side of the tires up there. So that means we should have good wheel seals up there, and also no leaking brakes. The other thing you can kind of resort to, like if you got or even think you're having issues like that in the rear axles of your trucks, Your nose is going to be your best friend, especially if you're leaking rear end or gear oil. It is a very pungent, nasty smell, and you won't forget it once you've either had it on you or you get a good whiff of it. It's not pleasant. So anyway, let your nose kind of help you out there some. But so we don't smell anything like that. We smell residual, nothing strong, pertinent, like it's continuing to leak. So we should be in very good shape down there. So one of the other things you want to do is check your oil. Always check your oil before taking off on a long trip. It will save you a lot of expense by making sure your fluids are topped off. Well, and as you can see, ours is a little low. We're not quite half a quart, but still plenty of oil in our engine, but that's one of the things we want to address and top off before we take off. So you guys can see that's the importance of checking your oil, because even somebody like myself who's kind of really up on those kind of things and making sure what's going on in our vehicle, in between oil changes on our truck, we've used not quite a half a quart, but you know, that still could cause a problem when you're putting that much pressure in the mountains. So we're going to want to top that off and get that all 100% for certain. Another thing to check while you're checking your fluids in your vehicle is check your transmission fluid and make sure it's up to par according to your vehicle specs of how it tells you to check it. Some require them to be cold, some require them to be running. One key thing you want to look for though in your transmission fluid, if it's not a reddish pink color and it's got a real nasty burnt smell to it, you probably should go have your transmission addressed, because you're definitely either due for a filter and flush, or you have got a little bit of burntness in your transmission, and that's never a good thing, especially when you're RVing and you're pulling something with some weight constantly. You can cause transmission failure, so you want to look to make sure your fluid doesn't smell burnt, it's not discolored. And if your transmission fluid's brown, definitely go seek a mechanic out and have him take a look at that and make sure what you got going on in there, because your transmission fluid should always be like a pinkish light red color, and it should never have a pungent burnt smell. So if you got that, have that checked out. But other than that, ours looks good. I can't hold the camera and pull mine back out to show you guys. So anyhow, ours is good. And like I said, that's one of the things you want to definitely make sure when checking fluids: antifreeze levels, all those. Antifreeze, oil, reservoir, brake fluid, transmission, and oil. So make sure you get all those taken care of before you take off on your next trip. Another thing you want to look at when you're doing an inspection of your vehicle before you take off is check your mirrors. Make sure you don't have a crack in them or something like that you didn't notice before. Let's pull this hood down here. And also, one of the things that people overlook, check your windshield wipers. Make sure your wipers are in good working condition. Make sure they're not cracked or broken, missing pieces, because nothing ruins your day driving on your RV when you can't see out your windshield because of faulty wiper blades that are about $20 a piece to replace, to get good wiper blades. I'm sure you can get some cheaper than that. I usually get the not the highest ones on the market, but about the middle of the road kind of wiper blades. They seem to do a pretty good job, but I guess it really boils down to personal preference, what kind of blades you want and what you want to use. So check your headlights, make sure they're not cracked. Now, this is just a walk-around inspection of what you should check on your vehicle. Check your mirror. Yeah, still good shape. Look for anything that's out of place, really. Your tail lights, make sure they're not cracked. Hope what I've been showing here today will help you get your rig ready for travel. If you guys want to see a full inspection, let me know down in the comments, and I'll give you a full walk-around inspection, an actual real trucker's inspection, to make sure everything is roadworthy, not only on your tow rig, but your RV as well. If you guys are interested, like I said, leave it down in the comments, and I'll be happy to address that in a later video. Until next time, guys, I hope this helped, give you insight on what I do before we take off on a long trip. Until next time, guys, Tony. Be safe out there. Don't forget to get out and adventure more. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Give it a like if you liked the video. And we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.